Newton's first law of motion states that an object will either remain at rest or in uniform motion and continue in a straight line until a force acts upon it. And for those of you that did O-level in my day or GCSE physics, you'll recognise that that's the definition of inertia. And I have a sort of visual metaphor in my head for the big insurers and the big banks, this huge, big, black, heavy object moving through space and time with an iron core of mainframes at the heart, ploughing through. And I'm seeing all these young, bright fintechs with their wonderful new technology coming up to meet this huge object and slowly getting crushed as this huge object carries on in its way. And the title of today was, it's not just about the tech. And in my view, it's not about the tech at all. It's about understanding whether that force exists to overcome that level of inertia. And sometimes, people are strong enough to make that change happen. And we've got two people. I worked with Sean for 5 years at Hiscox, trying to make change happen. Ruth is obviously making that same thing there, but it's hard work. It's really hard work to overcome that inertia. And also it's personally risky. Very few people get fired for moving in the direction of inertia and staying within the iron ball. It's a nice, comfortable place, and you can watch people like Ruth racing around on the outside trying to make change, and maybe they're successful, in which case, fantastic. But if they're not, they'll spin off into space, and the whole object will keep traveling forward. And my whole life has been about trying to manage and make change, and a lot of the time it's not been that successful. It's really, really hard work. And I think often, to use Sean's example of turning the telescope, I think people have got the wrong paradigm. So I spent 5 years at the heart of London modernisation, working at exchanging, and all that language was about, we've got to change the technology. What's wrong about the London market's the technology. We change the technology, everything will change. And I was incredibly frustrated about that because I didn't think that was the right answer. Actually, what's wrong about the London market is that everybody makes too much money. And everybody sits in very nice offices with very nice salaries, and they meet their friends and they have a wonderful life, and it's intellectually exciting. That's what's wrong. And you won't see fundamental change in that market until you see a lot of red ink written, which forces change. So you see playing at the edges, and people will play a bit with fintech, but you will not see, in my view, significant change until that happens. So I think this thing about technology is, it doesn't really matter how great your proposition is do you understand the force of change, the lever that's acting on that huge heavy object, and does your technology, will that perhaps be in the right direction of that? So I'm sort of a bit skeptical about insurtech. I think there's a lot of people going to be crushed by this inertia. It's hard yards selling into that market. The sales cycle is incredibly long, and a lot of people will run out of working capital before they have the time to turn that into sales. So I am going to wrap the circumstances up. So a big thank you to all our speakers. Thank you for your time today, very helpful. Please stay around and talk to our speakers and come and chat to us. I will end with a small advert, and I can do that because I'm a sort of warm neutral, which is I've looked at a lot of technology, my own technology, over 20 years. And what the guys at INSTANDA have built is I think, the best piece of technology I've seen deployed in the insurance sector. So please have a look at the software and talk to us afterwards. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you.